Hello and welcome to the channel. Now here's a question that I would like to pose for you. Is there anything sadder than a model aircraft without a pilot? I personally don't think so. So I need to actually start the process of producing a pilot for this SG-38 in 1/3 scale. So if you want to see this journey and how I'm going to tackle it, then get your favourite tipple in hand. Let's sit back and we can get creative. Well, isn't that an interesting photograph? That was sent to me a couple of nights back by Cliff Harvey, and he commented it how big the pilot looked in the photograph. And that set me thinking, it's going to look big in this model as well. So what I want to do is create a mock-up in profile, in cardboard, an articulated cardboard figure to sit in here to see what it would actually appear like in the model. That set me off on an interesting journey, conversing with an AI assistant, which got quite entertaining at times. I'll share that with you in a moment. So let's have a look at what a human figure at 1/3 scale is going to look like. Well, this is what I've come up with, or we've come up with. I use an AI assistant called Copilot, which is really good, and I've used it for quite a while now, so it's sort of getting to know my little idiosyncrasies, shall we say. And I fed in the information, told it what I needed, and it came back with some figures. And it also came out with a diagram, which I believe is called an ASCII, stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and it was gobbledygook. Not only was it gobbledygook, but it was actually incorrect. And when I pointed that out, the AI came back and said, yes, it felt ashamed. It said it had gone from a Michelangelo to an Etch-a-Sketch which had been dropped down the stairs, which I thought was highly amusing. Told it not to worry, you're only human. It seemed to like that as well. And then came back with figures that I could actually use. So what I've done is I've printed out a standard cross profile of it. There's a male and a female. There's no reason why the pilot shouldn't be female, I suppose. And at a scale of 1/3, and using the logic or the proportions of a human figure can be broken down into eighths, these are the points that I'm going to use to construct this profile figurine. So 74 is the height from the top of the head to the chin line, and then that's multiple, so that sort of hits the nipple line, that's the navel, that's the pivot point of the hips. This one's about the mid-thigh. This is the knee, the shin, calf area, and the bottom of the foot. And also to aid in producing the limbs, I also asked it to break down and give me the limb length. So once again, head it gives me, it's 74, neck 60. These are all in millimeters. Upper arm 145, forearm 75, the hand is normally at this proportion 55 millimeters at 1/3 scale, thigh 150, shin 110, and the foot length is 75. Your foot is about the length of your head, basically. So they're the proportions that I'm going to use. And I'm going to cut them out as something called grey board, which I used to use quite extensively when I modelled structures on model railways. So let's get that out and start drafting out the rough proportions or approximate proportions for this figure. Well, this is the stuff I'm going to use. It's just sort of recycled paper pulp into a card, and it comes in various thicknesses. This is just the thickness that I found useful when I was doing the building, so I've got lots of it. I'm going to draw out the head, the torso, the hip area, the buttock area, the thighs, the shin, the lower leg, and the limbs, and I'm going to cut them out and then I'm going to articulate them by screwing them together. So I'll get those marked out, and then when I've done that, we'll come back and I'll start drawing it up. So let's have a go at drawing it up. I've marked on the halfway of the height of the head, because the halfway point is actually where the eyes should be. Most kids and adults, when they draw a human face, put the eyes far too high up. So let's draw the skull. The jawline. Bit like my jaw, isn't it? Eyes there, brow there, coming out, nose, that'll do. So that would be cut out, and then obviously that would be articulated onto a neck. So I'll carry on like that. We'll draw the rest of the parts out, and when all the parts are drawn out, I'll cut them out, and then we'll start articulating all the bits together. Well, I'm happy with that as a rough outline. Somebody asked me once why I was doing all the lines, and I said, well, if I do enough of them, one of them's got to be right. So I'll get these cut out, and then we'll see how this figure fits into the cockpit of the aircraft. There you go, one figure produced. A little bit undersized, actually. Put them in. Get an idea of the proportions. Obviously his knees are all bent up there and doubled up, but that's the sort of proportions we'd be talking about. I would probably have to 3D print the head, perhaps 3D print and articulate the joints and the hands. The rest would probably be made out of foam in one form or another, keep the weight down, and then obviously we'd have to be clad. It's going to be an interesting exercise in its own right, unless there's somebody out there who wants to donate a 3D figure. I very much doubt that. But anyway, the next thing I'm going to show you, actually after I've had a coffee break, is some of the hardware that I've purchased to finish this model off. As I've mentioned before, most of the formed parts of the metalwork, such as these and that, are in the kit, but the bolts and the connecting pieces, there's just not enough of them, or they're the wrong length or the wrong type. So coffee break, and then let's get back to the build. So that little chap's been made. It gives me something to work on. Let's turn our attentions to the extra materials I've had to buy because they're not in the kit. If they are, it's a mystery to me how they would work. But anyway, I'll come to that in a second. You'll notice here that the wood on the boat itself and the underside and the skid is a slightly different shade to this area and this area. And that's because I've left these areas in untreated wood because they are going to be covered in fabric and doped. I'll be using the dress lining to do that I've used on other projects, and it's off-white actually, and I think it'll look rather cool, so it'll give a translucent effect. And there's some on this part of the A-frame, which I suspect is there to aid the lateral stability of the glider. This has been coated in an exterior quality wood staining protective product. It's light oak in a satin finish. It'll probably need a couple more rubs downs and coats just to enrich rather than deepen the colour. And I just thought that would offer it some protection. So that's done. Let's now turn our attention to the hardware, so to speak. Now, in terms of the metal parts that have been laser cut out, or I think they've been laser cut out, they're all fine and they're all present. What's lacking are long enough bolts to attach them in a suitable manner, in my view. So, for example, at this rear part, the exit, if I just zoom in a little, the exit hole there will allow cables to leave the fuselage from the servos and run to the control surfaces. And to guide them, they need to run on these pulleys, which are provided in the kit. I think they've got bearings in them, they feel like they have. But they need to run freely. And there are no bolts long enough that have been provided that would allow 4 pulleys to be stacked here. So what I've done is I've purchased some 3mm studding, and I'll drill that out, and you'll notice that I've got a nut. I've got a nut on there, and that'll mean that when I put the bearings on, the pulleys, that they're held off the surface here, because if you didn't have that, they would bind against the frame itself. So I think that's the way I'm going to go with that. Likewise, you may notice, if I tilt it down very slightly, there you go, you'll notice a pencil cross here, and that marks the position for one of these brackets. To be mounted, which will provide an anchor point for the wing. And there's another bracket that goes there. This one is screwed straight up, and it's at 90 degrees to the force that will be applied on it. So I'm happy to use the screws that are provided for that. I'm not happy about using screws here. So with that in mind, I'm going to use some more studding and drill all the way through and attach the brackets, one this side and one the other side, using the same studding for that reason. The force is a little bit diagonal, I suppose, but I just don't like the idea of it just relying on a screw going through some wood there. So I'll crack on with that, and then we'll see what the brackets look like when it's done, when it's attached. And the other thing that I've also done, if I tilt down, I don't much fancy on the day I'm at the field attaching the wings using nuts and bolts. So I can imagine it being extremely fiddly. There's a danger you'll drop the nut inside the wing because the end of the wings are exposed. So I've got these little bars that have got a hole through them, and they are a good fit through the brackets. Let's just demonstrate. They're a good fit through the brackets, and then they can be held in place with some R clips, which I also purchased. And obviously you put the R clip through, and there's no way that this thing's going to move once the R clip's in place. So there you go. And that's what I intend using at the field to put the wings on. And from initially thinking that this would be a laborious job in terms of rigging, I think actually it would be quite straightforward and a quick job to do. So I'll get these drilled out, and then I'll show you what it looks like when all the hardware's been installed. And there we have it, folks. The bracing wire brackets and the control cable pulleys are now in place. These I'll remove because I need to cover this, and it's obviously far easier to cover it without these in place. These need thread locked on, and there's also a bracket that I've added here. So that allows for the 2 underwing bracings to go on. If you've enjoyed this little video, please give it a thumbs up. I'll put the playlist in the description below so you can follow along and see where this started from and how far I've got so far. Perhaps the next video I may be covering this in some dress lining. Why not? Do the fuselage, get that out of the way. Obviously the radio gear needs to go in and there's that pilot to sort out. But I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a nice little interlude for myself, getting away from painting this up. Get creative, folks.